some books here that I'd like to show you. I just got 2 in the mail the other day. So we'll do a little bit of an unboxing of 2 books, and then I'll show you 2 fiction books that I have, one that I'm reading and the one that I'll read when I'm done with this one. Let's start with the loud Crinkles first. This package has bubble wrap on the inside. The books were very well protected in the mail. The books that are inside are from Common Notions Press. Common Notions Press. Common Notions Press. Common Notions Press. One is a brand new book that I pre-ordered, and one is a newer book that I ordered. Both of them were on sale. Let's look inside. The first book is called Lend and Rule: Fighting the Shadow Financialization of Public Universities. And it's published or authored by the Coalition Against Campus Debt. The smell is a light used books, or a light book smell, not used. Gentle, soft page flipping sound with a hard cover and back cover. Popping sound. The text is not too small. It's nice and big. It looks like there's some graphs and images. It's like a matte feel. It's very bendable. I think I showed you another book in one of my previous videos by Common Notions Press. It was a book on abolition. And I don't like the cover. It's not a book that I would buy because of the cover. It looks very financial, money, tech, which I don't really like those kinds of books. But when I read about what this book was, as someone who works in universities and is concerned about the growing neoliberalism of them, I wanted to read this book. And this book was published in 2024. And it has about 225 pages. Let's read the back cover. I haven't read it yet. Lend and Rule reveals the quote-unquote shadow governance of debt and credit in the United States higher education system. With sharp and hard-hitting insight, the Coalition Against Campus Debt exposes how institutional debt is a primary driver of university austerity, miseducation, and the deepening of social inequality. Maybe I'll share an update once I start reading it. Lend and Rule. Now for the second book that I got in the mail, the reveal, the unboxing. Very different look. This book is called Diversity of Aesthetics, Volumes 1 to 3, and the editors of this anthology are Andreas Petrosons and Jos Rosales. I might be mispronouncing their names. And in Diversity of Aesthetics, we have infrastructures of critique, foreigners everywhere, looting. And there's a range of authors, including Claire Fontaine, Iman Ganji, Sadia Hartman, Vicky Osterweel, Michael Rakowitz, Shalene Rodriguez, Christina Sharp, Stephen Shakaitis, Marina Vishmit, Ronaldo Walcott. And it's very neon green with neon pink. It sounds different tapping. It sounds more hollow than London Rule. Kind of like it better with the soft fingers. And this one is not matte. This is like sticky. A sticky cover. Let's see what it sounds like. Feels thicker. Not as good of a pop as London Rule. There it is. Yeah, thicker pages. Again, very light book smell. And this one is the one I pre-ordered, so this was just published. Again, this is Common Notions Press logo. And it was published this year. And let's take a look. This book is about only 157 pages, so a little bit fewer pages than London Rule. You can see a little bit there. The thickness is a little bit thinner. Let's read a little bit about this book that I haven't yet read, and maybe why I bought it. The tags on the book are liberation, critique, and theory. All right, so we only have some blurbs here. We'll read the first one by Shalene Rodriguez. The idea that our complicity robs us of the ability to say anything is BS. You can bite the hand that feeds you. In fact, you must bite the hand that feeds you. Are we all okay with normalizing McCarthyism? Is our complicity an extension of white liberal guilt? No. You're supposed to say something anyway. You have to show up to the employee cafeteria and look at your boss like, quote, yeah, that was me outside. How's your day today? I love the energy of that. I'm really excited to see what this anthology holds. Oh, it looks like the text is like a blue-black color. That's very cool. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And the text is also a different font. It's more stylized than the other one. Maybe you can see here, and there's also larger images to help with the reading of the print text. So I'm really excited about this book, and maybe I'll share an update once I start reading it. That's cool. You see the muscles in my arm? Whoa, that's pretty cool. Okay, so these again are the two brand new books that I received in the mail this week from Common Notions Press. Haven't yet started. Now, for the two fiction books, we'll start with the one that I'm currently reading. I might have shared this in another video. This book is The Fifth Sacred Thing by Starhawk. It is a very thick book. Very airy pages. This book was published in 1993, and I had to look that up. I mean, I can see it in this book, but I was also curious because if any of you have read The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler, there's some themes in this book or ideas that are very similar, and I was curious if this book came out after Parable of the Sower, or if Octavia and Starhawk knew one another. But these books both were published in the same year, in 1993. So if you've read The Parable of the Sower, you might be interested in The Fifth Sacred Thing, as it explores similar themes, but in a slightly different way, but also still having a critical perspective on the complex realities we all live in and what we need to do to take care of one another and the earth. This is where I'm at. I'm almost done. I am on page 410, chapter 31, and there's a total of 484 pages for this story, not including the acknowledgments section. So I've got about 70 or so more pages to read. What I can say is about this much. It took me a while just to get into it. It felt a little bit dry, like the author was trying to get too much in without too much emotional context. But I was recommended this book by at least one close friend, and either another friend or maybe Adrienne Marie Brown or someone read this, and I got excited. And I found it in a little free library, and so I grabbed it, and I was waiting for this book to come in at the library, and while I was waiting, I started to read this book. So let's read from the first page. Since I haven't finished it yet, I don't want to read the back. Chapter 1. I'll read the first paragraph. In the dry time of year, the dangerous time, the risk time, an old woman climbed a hill. Like most people in the southern part of the city, she called the season el tiempo de la segadora, the time of the reaper. The hills were dry, the gardens dependent on the dwindling waters of cisterns, the rains still weeks away. A time of ripening, but not yet of harvesting, when nothing was certain. And this is what the font looks like in every chapter. It has a regular Arabic numeral and this little filigree in the line, so it's easy to know when you're starting a chapter. And there's also interludes, and you know when there's an interlude when you see, let's see if I can find one to page flipping. Right here. There's this, oops, right here. There's these 3 little dots to notate when you could take a break in the midst of a chapter if you wanted to. Highly recommend this book. It's very exciting and interesting that this was published in 1993, given some of the themes and radical perspectives on relationships, as well as parallels to what is happening in our world today. So this book is over 30 years old, but still relevant. So, The Fifth Sacred Thing. This might be the last time you see it because I'm probably going to finish it tonight or tomorrow. Okay. Now, the last one. This will be the next fiction book that I read once I finish The Fifth Sacred Thing. It's Queen of Shadows, and it's by Sarah J. Maas, and it's the next book in the series, the next book for me in her series, A Throne of Glass. This is published by Bloomsbury. Oh, and I forgot to say, The Fifth Sacred Thing is published by Bantam. So, this is the second cover art, I believe. Usually, this book has had just an image of the main character, Selene Sardothian, but it looks like for the new print edition that was published a few years later, tinier paperback version, they changed the artwork to more of a landscape. And let's see. Very gentle, very soft page flipping. I am so excited for this book. I really enjoyed this series. This book was published in 2015, so this book is 10 years old now. And we have an updated map. This looks like a very different map than I have seen in the first edition of the hardcover books that I've read of this series so far, so I don't know if this is the updated map that was included in the original print version of this text, or if this is just an updated map for the newly updated print edition. We might be able to find that information on the copyright page. Let's see. It's not telling me. Sometimes it will tell you. Okay. Like here, it'll tell you the map was created by Virginia Allen, but it doesn't tell us the publication date of the map. But it does tell us that the first book of this was published in 2015, but this paperback edition was published 2 years ago in 2023. So, because I have not yet read this book, or haven't started it, I don't want to give it away for myself. So I'm not going to read an excerpt, but just know that on the back of the book, in this very top little tagline, it says, "No masters, no limits, no regrets." I'll probably give an update on this once I get started, unless I read it in a day and I finish it sooner. So these are the 2 fiction books that are in my docket. This one I will likely finish very soon, followed by this one, and I'll likely finish this one quite soon because I tend to read these ones really quickly. Plus the semester is over and it's the summer break. Okay, so recap. Two fiction books and 2 nonfiction books by Common Notions Press. It's not my favorite new book smell, but I love this publisher. Thank you. May you read well tonight.